the light again. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody. I'm going to adjust this, maybe. Oh, on top of the computer. I hate that. Is it on top? It is a little bit. Hold on. Every day I have to do this. Every day it's like a new. There we go. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. All right, good enough. All right. Hello, YouTube. How are we all doing this evening? Hello. TikTok as well. Go live. And then I think we are set. Sound is very low. No, sound has not changed. Sound has not changed, so I'm not going to mess with it again. I can't tell you. I don't know. Yeah. Well, what's weird too is the sound is different on each system. Like on Instagram, it's never loud enough. Everywhere else, it's very loud. It's very frustrating. It's like, it drives me crazy, this tech stuff, because it just goes back and forth. Hello, TikTok. Hello. How are we all doing? 102 in Phoenix. Yeah, but that's normal for you guys. Is that hot though? Oh, TV went back on. That's fascinating. Okay, I did not turn the TV back on. I love when it does that. There we go. TV is back off. Yeah, see, very loud by you guys. That's because I turned it up a little bit. All right, weird people, go away. I'm putting the sound back to where it should be. That's where the sound should be. Yeah, I'm putting it back to where it should be. That's the level it should be at, where it got there. Although suddenly got better. God only knows. Anyway, yeah, that's the setting it should be at. But again, YouTube and Discord sometimes start playing games, and God only knows why. Who knows how it changes itself. Anyway, welcome everybody. I'm a bit out of it today. I was like moving plants and things and pulled a muscle in my back, and I was like, no. And I've got some muscle relaxants. Took one though, and I forgot, like, oh my God, how much it knocks me out. So I just took like 2 or 3 hours of naps and everything and had a coffee, but I'm still kind of like, it's not a happy feeling. I mean, it's not a bad feeling, but it's not a good feeling. It's weird. It just like I'm in a haze right now, but it's fine. I have 5 pages of news, so I'm not allowed to be in a haze. So welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Groggy Friday. Exactly, Cher. Thank you for the little dino or dino. Looks like a little dino gift. It is a tiny diny. That's what I thought. So linguine and clam. Oh, that's nice. I always like linguine and clam sauce. I have to make that. I don't know if I've ever made that actually. But in any case, thank you. Happy Friday gifts. Thank you guys for the gifts. So this weekend, as you guys know, is our coffee talk weekend, where every Saturday morning I do a hangout just for the paid monthly subscribers at 11 a.m. Eastern time US. So if you're one of those by choice or by gift, some of you have been gifted a 1-month subscription. Thank you, Mustard, for the gift. And thank you, Jean Marquis. So you guys will know this because if you've got SNN next to your name on TikTok, if your name is a different color other than white on YouTube, if your name is a different color other than white on Discord, you are a monthly subscriber. And as I said, some of those are gifts from other people. Thank you, Chazak. Thank you, Adventures. Thank you, Mustard. So check us out in the morning. I'm going to get rolling with the news now. Pretty much every day we cover the news from the U.S. and Trump land. And then we also get into the war in Ukraine. Please keep the gifts coming. As I always sort of tell you guys, I do this for a living. Your gifts pay the bills, so I appreciate them. Thank you so much. Let's get rolling. So Epstein, the Epstein story for Trump isn't going away. He found a new angle, which often works for him, the persecution against the evil media, the evil Republican-owned media. The Wall Street Journal broke a story last night, which actually, thank you, Jens. Jens just get, to Evie. That's nice. Perfect. Always nice to see somebody we know get the gift. Thank you, Jens. Congratulations, Evie. Evie. I call you Evie. Evie. So Wall Street Journal, a number of you guys said it was coming, and you were right last night. There was a big Wall Street Journal story coming that a number of prominent people sent birthday wishes to Jeffrey Epstein 20 years ago. And one of them, according to the Journal, was Donald Trump. It was, they were all, a lot of the messages were pretty salacious. Trump's was as well. And Trump, they contacted the White House, the Wall Street Journal, for comment. Trump denied it. Trump, my favorite denial, thank you, Carrie, for the dino. My favorite denial from Trump was, I don't draw pictures. I've never drawn a picture in my life. So everyone started bringing out all the pictures Donald Trump has drawn, because Donald Trump loves to draw pictures with little Sharpies, with black markers. He even auctioned some of them off. Like, it's, yeah. But Donald Trump being Donald Trump, right? I've never done that in my life. He does. Trump has now or announced that he's suing the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, and somebody else. I don't even know. Basically, well, there's a couple of problems here. One, Trump is claiming, I've never had any relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. It's crazy. Then why aren't you releasing the files, Donald? Donald Trump has promised for 4 years to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. He's now refusing. He claims that Democrats edited the files and put bad things in there, presumably about him. Why would Democrats do that? Why would Joe Biden, and he claimed Biden and Obama. Why would Biden and Obama put negative stuff about Donald Trump, obviously, right, in the Epstein files and not release them, right? Because the Republicans keep saying, why didn't Joe Biden release them? Well, that's a really good question, because if Joe Biden doctored the files to make Donald Trump look bad, he would have released them. That's the whole point of doctoring the files, right? If Democrats created fake scandals, fake crimes of Donald Trump's in order to hurt Donald Trump, why wouldn't they have released that before the election? That's the whole reason you do it. But they didn't, which suggests that Democrats didn't. And also, frankly, Donald Trump just came up with this excuse a week ago. So I'd like to know why he's not releasing the files. Especially, by the way, if he's saying that he's had no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, then, or practically no relationship, then why not just release the files? Any case, this is a tried and true trick of Trump. He's got his top influencers on it. Oh, the fake news is coming after me. The Wall Street Journal. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Sharon. Keep in mind, the Wall Street Journal is one of the top newspapers in the world. It's owned by Rupert Murdoch. It tends to be a conservative paper anyway, but because it's a financial paper. But it's also owned by Rupert Murdoch, who's like the Fox News guy, Sky News, everything else, right? So I think he's Sky News. If you're owned by Rupert Murdoch, you're not a liberal. It's Fox News, right? Anyway, but Trump being Trump, though, Trump is often able to get away with things like this by claiming, oh, look at the evil media coming after me. So let's see what happens. But next story. Oh, this is interesting. So FBI agents assigned earlier this year to review investigative files in the criminal case against Jeffrey Epstein were instructed to flag any documents that mentioned Donald Trump. This, according to Senator Durbin today. Durbin's claim came in letters the Illinois Democrats sent to the Justice Department and FBI, asking them to explain discrepancies between past statements about a promised release of the Epstein files and findings from a July 7th Justice Department memo claiming no release would happen. This story... let's see what happens. This story isn't going to go away. Thank you, Mountain Laurel, for your subscription. I am certainly fascinated that it seems to have, thank you, Carrie, TikTok gift. I am certainly fascinated that this story has legs, so to speak, so far. Meaning that it's continued to cause damage to Trump, that Trump has not been able to get his supporters to back off. If anything, even last night, he certainly got a number of his top supporters to say, oh, this is fake. It's not true that I drew this picture. The problem is, I don't think anybody believes Donald Trump is completely innocent here. I don't think anybody really believes that Donald Trump isn't hiding the files because he's worried about what's in them, right? I don't know. Let's see. But I'm very intrigued. Thank you, Visionary. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Penny. I'm just very intrigued by this story because it's not going away. So another really bad news story last night, or scary news story, because it fits into a larger pattern. Paramount has announced, CBS has announced it's going to cancel The Late Show, which is a long-running TV show here in America hosted by Stephen Colbert, who's a comedian who's very critical of Donald Trump. It looks like the show got canceled as part of a deal with Trump, is what it looks like. It is, I will tell you, having worked in Washington for 40 years, to me, this smells of a deal. So basically what happened was, a couple of weeks ago, we learned that Paramount was going to settle a lawsuit that Donald Trump had launched against them. You might recall that Trump got upset with 60 Minutes, an American news show, because they edited a video interview of Kamala Harris, and Trump didn't like the way they edited the video and said, I'm suing you for like $1 billion or something ridiculous. Well, CBS turns around. Oh, thank you for the wings there. Very thank you, Succeed. CBS turns around and settles the lawsuit with Trump for something like $16 million. And basically, it's a payoff. Everyone said this is, I mean, I'm a lawyer. This is a frivolous lawsuit. You can't sue a news station because, by the way, listen to this. You don't like the way they edited your opponent's video. He's not saying he doesn't like the way they edited his video. So maybe he could try to claim defamation or something. He's saying he doesn't like the way they edited Kamala Harris's video interview, and he's therefore suing them for a ton of money. There's no lawsuit here. They opted to pay him anyway because Trump was threatening to hold off a merger that Paramount, the parent company of CBS, wanted to do. And Trump was threatening to hold up the merger. Right? Well, so they pay him off $16 million. Now what happens like a month, 2 months later? Suddenly they, and by the way, this is how you announce these kind of deals. If this were a secret deal, this is how you announce it. You wait a few months and then you announce it and pretend it's not connected, right? Oh, and Stephen Colbert, probably Donald Trump's biggest critic on television, is now going to be gone. I mean, it's very scary watching this stuff happen because I think even Europeans probably grew up this way, but Americans especially, we're not used to fascism. We're not used to it in our history, certainly not our modern history. We're not used to authoritarianism. So that I know growing up we look at Europe or any country really, but Europe is the history we're more closely tied to because a lot of us are Europeans, so to speak, right? I'm Greek, but our families came from Europe. And we look at Europe like World War II in particular and say, how did people let that happen? You know what I mean? How did the Germans let that guy come to power? How did the Spanish let their dictator come to power? How did the Italians? Even the Russians decided, even the Russians. We talk about Russia all the time. We say, how do the Russians let people like Putin stay? Why don't they rise up? And unfortunately, Donald Trump has given us a masterclass in how bad men can rise to power, and how they do it in a way that each step of the way is shocking, but people don't speak up because they're scared. And you even have things like the media caving, like they're doing yet again with Stephen Colbert. ABC did the same thing. George Stephanopoulos, lawsuit that many people thought ABC was going to win. They settled and they paid Trump off. I mean, it's very scary stuff. Anyway, all right, what else we got? New York Times, 10 Americans and U.S. permanent residents who had been seized by the Venezuelan authorities and held as bargaining chips were freed Friday in exchange for the release of more than 200 Venezuelan migrants who Trump had sent to El Salvador. This story is very interesting. So basically, we did an exchange with Venezuela. They were holding a number of 10 American hostages, basically, and we got El Salvador to release 200 of the migrants, the illegal aliens that we had kicked out, sent to El Salvador for the prison down there. What's interesting about this is, remember how Trump told the court he had no power to get El Salvador to release anybody? Because remember, they grabbed that guy from Maryland. Well, originally, I think El Salvador or something, but they grabbed him from Maryland and arrested him and threw him out of the country against the judge's orders. And then when the judge ordered them to get him back, they said, we have no power to bring him back. Well, seems like they do have the power to bring him back. Big surprise. Anyway, it's good these people are back, but let's talk about a little Ukraine news. Russia's overnight attack killed 7 and injured 25 in Ukraine over the past 24 hours. Ukraine's Air Force said it shot down 11 Shahed-type drones overnight as Russia launched a wave of 35 attack drones, including decoy drones. Wall Street Journal had a really big story that I'm going to summarize, but it's a long summary because I think it's interesting, on why did Donald Trump come along on Ukraine. Now, clearly Trump could change his mind. We know that. But at this point, Trump has already flip-flopped. He tacoed and now is pro-Ukraine and anti-Russia. Why? What happened? Wall Street Journal did, I thought, a really nice reporting on it. Let me kind of give you some summary here. Several key developments helped chip Trump's stance on Ukraine and reopen the door to arms transfers. 1, Putin's repeated deceptions. Trump's personal frustration with Putin appears to be the single driver of his shift. Trump told aides and reporters that Putin kept lying to him on their phone calls, offering reassurances and then launching missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian cities hours later. Trump said Putin always hangs up and says, well, that was a nice phone call. Trump would say, and then missiles would be launched into Kyiv or some other city. After multiple rounds of this pattern, Trump began to feel he couldn't trust Putin. Yeah. 2, coordinated European diplomacy. European leaders played a central sustained role in flipping Trump's position. Heads of state like Emmanuel Macron of France, Keir Starmer of the UK, Friedrich Merz of the Germany, leveraged their personal relationships and frequent phone calls with Trump to press a narrative that helping Ukraine was not just humanitarian, but strategically advantageous for him. These leaders emphasized that Putin was undermining Trump's vision for ending the war and made clear that U.S. support could continue without direct funding via European purchases of American weapons. Macron, in particular, helped draft language for Zelensky to apologize to Trump and advised on how to approach him. That fascinating. I don't know why Macron would be the expert at apologizing, but whatever. NATO officials tailored their recent summit to appeal to Trump, emphasizing increased defense spending and offering diplomatic wins he could tout. 3, Zelensky's tactical pivot. These are all reasons for the Wall Street Journal on why Trump changed his mind on Ukraine. Zelensky adjusted his entire posture towards Trump. He began using language Trump responds to: transactional, flattery-based, personal. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly, when you read this story. He toned down his military fatigues in favor of a suit jacket at high-level meetings, including at the NATO summit in The Hague. Trump didn't like the way he was dressed, so Zelensky changed the way he dressed. At Macron and Starmer's urging, Zelensky met privately with Trump at the Vatican without aides to reset their relationship. This one-on-one approach helped rebuild trust. Zelensky reassured Trump that Ukraine supported his ceasefire goals and showed flexibility on proposals that made Trump look like a deal maker. 4, a strategic workaround letting Europe pay. Trump remains deeply opposed to direct U.S. financial assistance to Ukraine, but the New Deal, $10 billion in U.S. weapons to be paid by Europe, let him sidestep that political red line. It gives him the appearance of toughness and frugality at home while still helping Ukraine enough to pressure Russia towards negotiations. The July 4th phone call was a watershed moment. The final catalyst was the July 4th phone call between Trump and Zelensky, described by both sides as surprisingly cordial and productive. During the call, Trump asked if Ukraine could hit Moscow or St. Petersburg, to which Zelensky replied, "If we have the right weapons, we can." That blunt answer may have reinforced Trump's view that Ukraine could fight more effectively on his terms if given the tools. But this is my favorite summation of the article, as one European official warned, things are positive until they change again. So meaning, yes, things are going much better with Trump until they aren't going better with Trump, which is something we're all familiar with. So as I said, I thought that was just particularly interesting. I think I'm not convinced anything in there was news in terms of why. I think the Europeans, like Macron having such a role, is kind of fascinating to me, as far as what role Macron had in helping Zelensky. Very interesting. Very interesting. What are we doing here? Yep. Anyway, all right. What else we got here? So more on the Patriot missile situation. Wall Street Journal: Trump administration has moved Germany ahead of Switzerland for the next Patriot air defense systems off the production line, paving the way for Berlin to send 2 Patriots it already has to Ukraine. The U.S. promised to quickly replace Germany's Patriots as the first instance of the Pentagon facilitating weapons deliveries for Ukraine since Trump announced earlier this month that he favored sending more arms. As additional countries sign on to send Patriots from their arsenals to Ukraine, the Trump administration will further reshuffle plans. European Union agreed on one of its strongest Russia sanctions packages today after Slovakia lifted its veto. The Russian oil giant has been trying to sell its 49% stake. Oh, this was interesting. In India's Nayara refinery, but the European Union's latest sanctions package could make a deal too risky for buyers. That's really good news because the Russians are trying to get cash by selling basically their investment in India, and they can't do it because of the sanctions. Ukraine and the United States are in detailed talks on a deal involving U.S. investment in Kyiv's domestic drone production. A little more detail from the story we heard about yesterday. Germany's Merz says Ukraine unlikely to join the European Union before 2034. Ukrainian hackers wiped the databases at Russia's Gazprom energy multinational, basically one of their huge companies, in a major cyber attack. And finally, Romania plans to build drones with Ukraine. Project would involve Romanian investment in a local factory. All right, there we go. Oh, actually, that one is funny. The news always goes slow and then it picks up. Like I was thinking the news was going slow today. But then it kind of went zoom, 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 and that was the end of that. So, I'm going to sit back because I'm tired after taking my little muscle relaxant for my back. It has me. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I don't like this at all. It really knocks me out. Like it's just bleh. You know, like I said, I slept, I think 2 or 3 hours. I don't even know now how much I slept, and I'm still just like, bleh. Yes, I saw that. So the other thing, Trump is, as part of his trying to appease his base over Jeffrey Epstein, Trump is looking to release or unseal grand jury transcripts. But what people are saying is it's kind of meaningless because the grand jury transcripts are like such a small amount of the evidence. It doesn't really help. And what they're hoping to do is release stuff that doesn't include Trump, right? So if there's no witnesses of Trump being with Epstein, they wouldn't have grand jury testimony. That doesn't mean that Trump isn't in the files that they're hiding. So anyway. Anyway. Oops. Hope I didn't. Oh, good. No, you're gone. You're gone. Anyway. Up. So what else is going on, guys? Up. He may convince MAGA that it's enough. I mean, the thing is, he's not doing well with this. You know? Thank you, Carrie. I know the Happy Friday thing is cute. He's not doing well with this. Let's see. Going after the Wall Street Journal tends to be a little more his usual move that he might get away with, but I don't know. I think, you know, his people, the thing is, now I'm going to yawn at you. The thing is, Trump's followers are very big on this issue, right? All the child stuff, harmed children issue. They don't like, I mean, none of us like it, but his people are very big on conspiracies and everything else surrounding it. I don't know. I think, I don't, he's clearly not getting away with it yet. The question becomes whether the story somehow fades away. Right. And I don't know whether it'll fade away. You know, yeah, the Wall Street Journal, Racing Fan was mentioning the Wall Street Journal article. I think that's true. I think there's no chance the Wall Street Journal published that story without ironclad evidence, without ironclad witnesses. For example, well, a couple different things. One, they were looking at evidence from an FBI file or DOJ file. So that's the first thing. Second of all, well, actually, that's all you really need. You would need the proof that the document came from the FBI file. And then once you see it, if it's painfully obvious that the signature is Donald Trump's, or at least the signature is intended to be Donald Trump's, then you report that. And Donald Trump is a public figure. He's not going to win, especially as president. He's an even bigger public figure. He's not going to win a lawsuit against them. There's no way. You know? So, oh, yeah, Stephen Colbert. I am okay. You got it, you guys. Stephen Colbert, we talked about earlier. You get that access because someone leaks it. Somebody at Department of Justice or the FBI leaked it to the Wall Street Journal. Man, that's what happens. They didn't like, first of all, the interesting thing is someone at the Department of Justice or the FBI could have been a Trump person, because it could be somebody on the left who's not happy at Trump. It could be somebody on the right who's not happy that Trump is now not sharing the files that he promised he was going to share. Right? Trump should share all the damn files, period. Right? If they're fake, then let people go through it and figure out it's fake. You know? Thank you, Jules. I just noticed the patio comment. Thank you. Right? You know. Well, true. That would be bad if that Florida judge gets to be his judge. But then again, then you appeal all the bad decisions, you know? Right. The Republicans are cutting. Thank you for the gifts, guys. The Republicans are cutting funding for National Public Radio and public broadcasting across the board, which is very bad. I don't think so. Thank you, Brendan. Now, retrials are somebody said a retrial or somebody said her name is actually Ghislaine, maybe, Matt, or Ghislaine. I don't know. I'm going to call her Ghislaine because honestly, she's got a weird name. It's French. This is America. I'm not going to worry about her name anymore. It's Ghislaine for my tastes. I don't think she gets a retrial. For a retrial, from what I mean, somebody out there may be a prosecutor. I do not have a prosecution background. I'm a lawyer. But from what I understand, retrials are very difficult. Yeah, is it Ghislaine then, Carrie? This name drives me crazy. Ghislaine. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Ren. Retrials are very hard to get. you've got to have like really a gross mistake by the court. And this isn't a gross mistake by the court. Or Ghislaine. Yeah. And it's not like, well, I mean, it's funny you say that. You're right, because Trump is claiming, first of all, he's lying. I mean, he's claiming the evidence was doctored. He's lying, right? He's lying. So, Ghislaine. Oh, thank you, Marsha. I am sad. Now I'm going to yawn at you all. Oh, my leftover muscle relaxant from my back earlier, which it did help, but God, I don't like these things during the day. It's very like, just very groggy. Exactly. Line number 50,000. Exactly. Anyway, what else, guys? It's a slow day today. It is a slow day. Grab a coffee? No, I already had. It's too late in the evening. 6:30. I'm going to get heartburn and everything else. I had a coffee like an hour and a half ago. So, yeah, it clearly does. I mean, even though it's three times a day, which I'm surprised, because this thing, I had it like noon maybe when I pulled my back. Maybe at noon. I mean, this is crazy. But it may have a long half-life because it's clearly still affecting me. But I did get good naps in. Oh my God. I know, before bed, honestly, that is a good idea. We'll see if it's still bothering me. I don't like this feeling though. It's a little too groggy for my tastes. I just feel kind of like, not very fun. Yes, I did. Oh, thank you for who's that? Thank you, Marsha. Manifesting. Very cool. Yes, Dick Durbin, who's a U.S. Senator, said 1,000 FBI agents have been going over the Epstein files and were told to flag anything relating to Donald Trump. I do still have pocket coffees, but I'm not popping any coffee right now. I've been getting heartburn and stuff. The last thing I need is more coffee, So my physical results are fine, Dragon. Thank you for asking. Unlike Donald Trump, my results truly are fine. So thank you, Julianne. I know, surprising there's 1,000 FBI agents left, Carol said. I agree on that one. Oh gosh. Hey, yeah, sorry guys. Oh, Mamma Mia. All right, John Paul, you're literally 1 second away from being blocked for life. So chill out or you're leaving shortly. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, that would be my sense. He's muted at least. Yep. He's clearly a troll, probably a 13-year-old. Thank you, Marsha. Yeah, there was a story about like $1 billion being moved back and forth to Epstein or whatever, but I don't know. We don't know what that's about. I mean, he was a big investor or whatever anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised a lot of money was flying back and forth, What else? Sorry, guys. I am really out of it, man. Oh my God. Oh, it really knocked me out. I even thought of canceling the show, but I was like, I'm not canceling the show. But I'm totally just kind of like, our mods are legendary. I mean, Musical is asking, where did Epstein get his money in the first place? I don't remember, but I seem to recall he was a big wheeler dealer in general. Might have been real estate. Does anybody remember? Was it real estate? But he was a huge wheeler dealer doing business deals with everybody. So maybe he'd get investors or whatever, I think is what I'd read. So, food talk time, not food talk time yet. Thank you, Flaming. Real estate. Yeah. Now, the only thing is the client list is interesting because, and again, I want to be careful with these topics, don't want to get too salacious online, but if you're running something where you're hooking your male friends up with girls, right? And that's part of, maybe it's your shtick to get them to invest and it's part of the way you pay them back or something. If you're doing that as literally part of your business and stuff, it would be smart to keep, it would be dumb to keep records because of criminality. It'd be smart to keep records of what each guy liked, which girl each guy liked, what he liked about that girl, right? I mean, and even more salacious details about each guy, because the next time he gets hired, well, you could blackmail him. That's true, Carol. But also, the next time you help him out, you tell his date all the details about what he likes so that you keep him very, very happy, right? So you could very easily have files. It reminds me of, and again, I don't want to talk about this on TikTok because TikTok, I think, gets a little upset with some of these topics, but you get my point. It reminds me of these businesses where men do this with women and the businesses keep their client files and they keep details in the client files to know what the client likes. So it's possible Epstein kept details of what his clients liked. Very possible. Ages of the girls they liked, who knows, right? So all of that's quite possible. So that's why this client list thing is such a big deal. It's not just what men was he involved with, but what if it mentions girls being underage or something, or anything else? Yeah, it's like I said, this is a sensitive topic, so we're trying to be careful here. But a very bad story. So yes. Anyway. What else? What else? Heidi Fleiss. Oh, that's right. I forgot about her. Vaguely remember her story. I don't remember her story very well. I remember the name. Was it Mayflower? Oh, was hers because she kept lists? I didn't remember that. Was that what it was? Okay. Right. Yeah, this Genius Act thing. Well, first of all, I thought that was crypto. Was it just crypto? I honestly don't want to talk about crypto either. TikTok doesn't like that topic either, but I don't know enough about stable coins and everything else. I mean, I know about them, but I don't know enough to opine on them. But I know there was a crypto element to it. I tend to be friendly on that topic. So it doesn't bother me in principle that they're passing legislation to make that field a little more acceptable. Just because some bad people get involved in it doesn't make it bad, Yeah. TikTok does not like a lot of topics other than warm puppies and butterflies. This is true. They like puppies and butterflies. So we try to keep these topics a little G-rated or whatever. They don't like that other topic I just mentioned because there's a lot of scammers out there. So I think that's part of the reason. I mean, there are people that talk about that on their lives and stuff. They don't like Coldplay. I love Coldplay. Who doesn't like Coldplay? Who doesn't like Coldplay? TikTok? What else? What else, guys? Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Ooh, but yes, I'm tired. Slow day today too. I can tell, like, even on TikTok, we don't have a crazy turnout today. Oh, TikTok loves Coldplay. Okay. Oh, okay. Bad things happened with the CEO of Coldplay. Okay. All right. Yeah, we talked about the Colbert Show. Very scary. London for the first time. London. I haven't been to London in a very long time, but I do like London. ASMR. I know. The thing is, it would be our latest news update from Washington. Let's talk about the latest Donald Trump scandal. Right? Is that ASMR? Oh, and then go and then make funny noises. I do watch a few ASMR people, but they don't actually do anything. I mean, I've got a couple ASMR people I follow just 'cause I enjoy watching their shows, but it doesn't give me tingles or anything. The ones that I've seen on TikTok, they're just, but it's fun. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, exactly. Take the microphone off. But they don't give me tingles, unfortunately. Exactly. The whispering is creepy. Um, I think the sounds are kind of fun. Like I like all the little, like when they do all their little, like all their interesting, right? All their interesting, and I don't have the nails for it, but all their interesting little sounds. You know, the iPad sound. It's funny. I don't mind it. I thought about, hey, if ASMR made money, thank you, Anne, for subscribing on YouTube. If ASMR made money, I'd consider it. I love Midas Touch. I like those guys. I consider them friends. I don't know them well, but I've known them for years. Interviewed them a few times on my podcast. They're absolutely hilarious. Really good guys, the Midas Touch brothers, Mycelis brother. Just really nice guys, smart, fun. I'm so glad they're doing well. Just very impressed with them. They're good guys. They deserve it. They're another one I have to ask to come on because they're great, and I know them. I should ask them to come on, or at least a couple of them. They're really good. Yeah, and like I said, they're funny. They're interesting. I mean, I remember like they're really interesting, but we were laughing the whole time they were on the show because they're just very funny. The other Mike, Mike Smith, SMYTH, was the. It's not a podcast, I guess. It was a radio show. David Parkman's great. I've had David on my actually, we never had David on this, did we? We had David on the podcast. I should reach out to David again. I love David Packman. Oh, he's great. Yeah, I had David on my podcast actually years ago. David is great. I should reach out to David again. Totally different because David's much more precise and serious, right? The Midas Touch guys are just hilarious. Totally different personalities, you know. Pod Save the World. We know each other, but I don't really know those guys. I do not still have a podcast. It was just too much, and it wasn't getting enough viewers, so it wasn't really worth it. It was a lot of work for too few listeners. So we gave up after several years. It was just too much, you know. Whereas this, I get a good amount of listener, you know, good amount. I mean, the money is still not great, but I have a good sized audience, so I feel like I make an impact with this. It just didn't feel like it was making an impact, you know. Stephen Colbert would be amazing, yeah, to interview. Are you kidding? I'd love to interview Stephen Colbert. Mark Elias, actually, I love Mark Elias too. Yeah, Mark Elias is amazing. Lincoln Project, I like them. Musical asks, what's my opinion on the Lincoln Project? So Lincoln Project is a bunch of Republicans who got together to go after Trump, God, maybe 8 years ago now. I like them. I think they serve a purpose. They tend to be very harsh in a good way, meaning because they're either Republicans or, I mean, I'm a former Republican. I think there's something to be said for former Republicans being very boom, 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 very harsh and in their political attacks. They're very harsh and strong. That's certainly the way I like to go after things. Marcos Melitsas, blogger, former Republican. Ariana Huffington, when she was doing her blog, former Republican. A lot of former Republicans or current Republicans are very good at hard-hitting strategy, which I tend to like in politics. So the Lincoln Project guys are just that. I like the stuff they do. They're smart. Actually, Rick Wilson's another one I should have on because Rick I had on a couple times too at my on my podcast. Rick's hilarious. Yeah, I like him. I think there's a place to be had for Republican voices as well in all of this. So, you know, it's fine. They make money doing it too. Well, they should make money doing it. Why not? You know, they do have they got good messaging. Does it work? Who knows? But it's worth trying, you know. ASMR cow hoof trimming. Oh God. I don't even know. That sounds just kind of weird. That sounds a little weird. Jumbotron guy at Coldplay. I don't know. I don't know. If he's hot, I'll take it. Nate the hoof guy. Oh, is that the ASMR hoof guy? Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. 74. All right, there we go. It's nice to, I mean, at least it's cloudy today. I did not take the dog really out for much of a walk because it's yet another hideous day. Apparently, this is the second most humid summer we've ever had in DC in like 100 years, which makes sense, you know? Taped convo. I don't know how a taped convo works for TikTok. A taped convo would be difficult. It would mean a video I upload, which I could, but kind of weird. I would rather get people to do live shows, really. You know, yeah, clocks, exactly. North Carolina weather. Yeah, I mean, it's too humid. I hate that. DC is always pretty humid, but this is horrific in terms of what, like I said, it's the second most humid we've had. I was just reading yesterday. There's some whether it's high pressure, whatever the hell it is, but something stuck over the Atlantic, and it's just bringing the humidity in repeatedly, and it's not moving away, which is very annoying. Just very annoying. Anyway. Oh, what else, guys? We're not going to go too much longer, I think, just because it's kind of dead today. I thought there was a lot of news, but heat dome, that is what it was called. I think, Addie, you're right. Yep. Yeah, it's down to 80. It's 85 right now. It's pretty bad. It's 85 and the humidity is off the charts. I bet you the heat or the, what do you call the dew point is probably 73 or something hideous. Let me look, but I'll bet you it is. Actually, do I have weather? I don't know if I've got weather on my iPad. Maybe I do. Yes, they finally added the weather app on here. Dew point, 72 dew point. That's still disgusting. It's a little better than it's been. That's better than it's been. Where are you? Oh, North Carolina. That is pretty bad. 103 with the dew point of 76 is disgusting. Yeah, that is disgusting. Fair enough. That's gross. 90s in Colorado. That's funny because you guys, I do expect to be more mountain weather. Food time. I have no new food to report. Still working on my brownies. I had some with ice cream today. I was very happy. Tomorrow I'm going to make a pasta recipe I saw that's like pasta with spinach and feta and some stuff. So hopefully that'll be good. And with the spinach, make it a little healthier. So it should be good. Otherwise, no other news on that front. I know we're not talking food tonight. That's all right. Like I said, I think I'm going to keep this short tonight because I don't have much additional news. The cake thing is good. It's chocolate. It's a chocolate flourless cake, even though there's some there's flour in it, but it's kind of flourless. It's good. Next time I might cut an egg out of it. I still think it's a bit eggy, but it's very good. And what I like about it is you can just eat it straight up, but you can also heat it a little bit in a microwave and then put it with vanilla ice cream. It's very rich, very nice. So bread was great. Bread always turns out well. Actually, I need to make bagels again. I did make bagels once several months ago. They were actually not bad. Thank you, Jamie or Jaime. They were surprisingly not bad, not too hard to make. So I'm going to try those, I think, again sometime soon. So I did not hear anything about Los Angeles today, but the bagels were okay. I need to find like a good, easy, I mean, they're easy to make, but like a good recipe and try them again. So we shall see. My mother-in-law tongue is not blooming. It has bloomed. The one I had in New York bloomed all the time. This one does not. Someone's talking about my, is it Sansevieria? I forget the mother-in-law tongue. Lady, get out of here. This one. But the one I had in New York would literally bloom. And I remember people online were going in group discussions were like, it's a wives' tale that it blooms. Like these experts, it never blooms. I'm like, all right, quite literally, I had to cut the flowers off the damn thing because it gets little flowers that look like the little tinkle bells, whatever they're called. I forget what plant that is. That gets the little bell flowers, white ones, and it smells at night. During the day, there's no scent at all. At night, just these little flowers would fill my entire room with the smell of lilies. It looks like lily of the valley. It smells like lilies, that horrible death flower. I had to cut the flowers off because it stunk up with my allergies. I was like, I can't live like this. But it was the most amazing thing. And I told my mom, and my mom was like, I've never heard of them flowering. This one's not flowering. That one in New York, although that one in New York was it was probably 3 times the size of this plant. It was crowded in. I think it liked being crowded in its container, and it would flower all the time. It was the funniest damn thing. But I love, like I said, I went online and I'm reading people, these, hang on, adjust the camera again. these experts saying it does not flower. I'm an expert on this. They never flower. And I kind of weighed in and was like, okay, got to tell you, I know for a fact. like, yeah, but it's nice. No, my plants are always doing well. They're doing good. They're doing well, as always. You know, my whatchamacallums, my African violets are looking good. Bring it with me. Bring what with me? Oh, because when I came back from New York, I went to Chicago first because my condo here was being rented. They weren't leaving until like May or June 1st. My rent in New York ended February 15th. So I didn't have a choice. It was, I didn't have a choice. I had to leave New York 3 months early. So I moved to Chicago for 3 months, stayed with mom, and then moved out here. So otherwise, I kept most of my plants, but that plant was too big and heavy to mail. I was like, it was too heavy. There's no way. My Christmas cactuses I mailed. I gave it to friends in New York. I was a little bummed because it's such an amazing plant, that thing. I mean, the thickness of it, but what do you do? It's okay. I mean, I have enough plants anyway, obviously, but I like the plants and they make me happy. I like taking care of them. They're like little pets, but I like them. They keep me happy. Something to tend to, which I enjoy. Nothing. Yeah, like I said, I'm hoping the hydrangeas that died back for the first time in forever. They died back over the winter, endless summers. I'm hoping that they flower. I'm not sure if they will this year, but at least they're alive. But they had to grow from the nubs this time. Herbs, yeah, a little bit. I grow scallions, which I was telling people my scallion stalks are 1.5 inches wide now. Imagine scallions, green onions, 1.5 inches wide. The stalk is now, and I somehow had basil from God knows where. I found basil growing in one of my plants, so I scooped it up and put it in with the scallions. So I now have a basil plant, which made me laugh. I was like, okay, why not? I've got basil. So I don't have other spices. I do like some of the other spices. I don't use them enough, but I do like the other spices. I'm going to find my scallions again to show you guys. Green onions. Because I took a picture to show, if I can find it, because it just made me laugh how big this crazy thing is. Oops, put my glasses on. I don't think I'm going to find it. I may find it here. I may or I may not. I finally tried that Jenny's ice cream. It was on sale the other day, although still very expensive. It was very good. $6 a pint on sale, which is still too much. But I tried it, and I will say it's very good ice cream, this Jenny's, but it's too expensive. Way too expensive. So not happy about that, unfortunately. Oh, here it is. So these are my green onions, scallions. The thing to remember is that stalk is 1.5 inches across, okay? It may not look as big from the picture. That's 1.5 inches, the diameter of that stalk. Imagine one green onion. I mean, that's one freaking green onion, 1.5 inches across. And those are seeds. New ones are coming up. The ones on the left are seeds that came from it growing new ones. And the stalk itself they look like leeks, I know. The stalk itself is, oh God, I have to show you. The stalk itself is probably 2.5 feet. Centimeters would be, is it, I know this, I'm forgetting, I know 2.5 centimeters to 1 inch, so probably 4 centimeters. Yeah, exactly what Super Hornet just said. I think 4 centimeters across. But the height of it is probably 2.5 feet tall. The stalk of green onion, 2.5 feet, and it's this thick. The green onion stalk is this wide. It's insane. Yeah, 2.54 exactly. Yep. JTA says many people assume that Putin has files on Trump that can keep it. Could it be the Epstein files? Who knows? I look. Trump has always had a very weird, creepy relationship with Putin. Trump has always acted like he's beholden to Putin. Why? Who knows? Trump's own director of national intelligence, the one that Tulsi Gabbard is now, was Dan Coates during his first term. Dan Coates was a conservative, religious right, far right nut job, basically. I mean, religious right, super duper right wing. And Coates was convinced that Donald Trump was being blackmailed and had his staff do multiple investigations of Trump to see if he was being blackmailed by Putin. I mean, that's incredible. And again, it shows how bad Democrats are at messaging that story just goes away. That even one of Trump's top intelligence advisors, who's a conservative Republican, investigated Trump for possible blackmail. So, who knows? But again, it's a true story and it's gone away. Very weird. Thank you, Susan. Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. Now it's getting too cold in here, of course. Anyway, spices can be great in bread. I actually, at one point, I made the Swedish limpa bread, which has a lot of spices. Very good. Very interesting. I did not get a haircut yet. Nope, it's coming. It's coming. You'll know when I get it because I'm getting it cut off. But Swedish limpa bread, Limpa, was very good. Very like star anise. I remember it had a lot of very interesting, my camera's moving around. It had a lot of very interesting spices in it. Very good. But yeah, I need to make some regular bread. There's a very good molasses bread my friend Joe has. He got from Old Lady Down the Block in Nebraska. Because I've got my Greek bread, but I need some day-to-day bread. Maybe I will make the molasses bread. That's not a bad idea. It is a very good bread. I am single, RJ. Red Lobster. Oh, good. I'm glad it was good. Mundo bread? What is Mundo bread, Alexis? I don't know it. But I do need to make some additional regular bread. Yeah, I have a very good white bread that I make. It's just nice. It's a good little, hearty, not hearty, but you know what I mean? Like it's for snacks and stuff. Focaccia is very easy. Yes, I've made focaccia. But I just kind of need something I can eat with spaghetti or whatever, Yeah, rye. I've made rye breads before. The Japanese milk bread. I've not tried that yet. Yes, the Japanese have a technique where you, I believe you cook some of the flour and the milk or whatever. There's a technique for cooking the flour first that apparently does wonders with the bread. And I've not tried it yet, but I've been meaning to. We are talking food again, aren't we? It's fun though. I love cooking. I find it fascinating, Sourdough. I did sourdough for years. I finally started doing sourdough. I did it years ago, but I started doing it during COVID, got very good at it, but I got tired of it. It was very good. I will say sourdough pancakes to die for, absolutely to die for. So that was very good. Yeah. Gluten for rye, very important for rye. Yeah. Yep. Or they'll add regular bread recipes will sometimes add 10% rye flour to give it a richer flavor and stuff, but it's not enough to screw up the gluten, the 10%. Sourdough cinnamon bread. That sounds good. I have a very good sourdough recipe as well. Not sourdough, cinnamon bread from Cooks Illustrated. It makes a beautiful loaf. Oh my God. Oh, that stuff. I may have to make that. I haven't made that in a while. That stuff's very good. I'd have that for breakfast and be like, ha ha ha. Maybe I will make that next time. It's a very nice recipe. All right, guys, I think I'm going to sign off. We've been going an hour. It's a little slow tonight. I'm still groggy from my muscle relaxant. So, with no further ado, I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining us. Remember, tomorrow we've got Coffee Talk, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S. So anybody who is a paid monthly subscriber on TikTok, YouTube, or Discord, come by tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. on TikTok, YouTube, and Discord. Otherwise, I will be back Monday evening at 6 o'clock Eastern, and the same old, same old. So thanks for following, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for the gifts as well. And Discord, I will say goodnight to you first, Igor Manda Street Rat. All right. Boom. There we go. Oops. All right. YouTube. Ashley's going to miss Coffee Talk. It's okay. You're allowed. All right. See you, YouTube. You're allowed. Well, mods aren't really necessary.